Hana's hands were shaking. She tried to hide it by gripping the edges of the podium, but she knew everyone could see. The Grand Assembly Hall was full of important people. Counselors, diplomats, military officers. All of them were watching her. She was 23 years old. This was her first real speech. 3 months of preparation had gone into the words she was about to say. Her proposal was simple. Expand trade routes to the neighboring star systems. Open new mining operations in the Theta sector. Bring more wealth to the Velarite Collective. Hana cleared her throat and began. Her voice was steady, professional. She talked about economic projections. She mentioned the rare minerals found in the asteroid fields near Theta 9. She explained how other civilizations were already moving into that region, and the collective needed to act quickly. 15 minutes into her speech, she was starting to relax. Some of the counselors were nodding. A few were taking notes. Maybe this would work. Maybe they would actually listen to her. She opened her mouth to continue. The words were ready, but they never came out. Every screen in the chamber flickered. The lights dimmed for a second, then blazed back to full brightness. A horrible wailing sound filled the air. It was the planetary defense alarm. Hana had never heard it before, not even during drills. The room exploded into chaos. Counselors were shouting. Security guards rushed in through every door. Someone grabbed Hana's arm, trying to pull her away from the podium. She didn't move. She couldn't. Her eyes were fixed on the massive display screen behind the council seats. A ship hung in space above their world. It was huge, bigger than any Velarite vessel she had ever seen. The design was completely unfamiliar. Sharp angles, dark metal, and scars. The hull was covered in burn marks and impact craters. This ship had been in battles. Many battles. Commander Taeyang burst into the chamber. His scales, normally a healthy green, were pale with shock. The old military officer had served for 40 years. Hana had never seen him look afraid before. How did it get here? Counselor Minji demanded. She was the oldest member of the council, over 200 years old. Her voice cut through the noise like a blade. We don't know, Taeyang said. His voice was hoarse. There was no warning. No FTL signature. No energy spike. It just appeared. One moment our sensors showed empty space. The next moment this ship was there. Minji turned to the technicians operating the displays. Scan it, I want to know everything. Ship class, weapon systems, crew capacity, origin point, everything. The technicians worked frantically. After a long minute, the lead technician looked up. Counselor, our scanners cannot penetrate the hull. We're getting nothing. No readings at all. That was impossible. Velarite sensor technology was among the best in known space. They could scan through walls, through shields, through asteroid fields. But this ship was a complete mystery. Is it hostile? Someone asked. Unknown, Taeyang replied. But any ship that can appear without warning and block our sensors should be considered extremely dangerous. The main display flickered again. A new window appeared, overlaying the image of the ship. Text scrolled across the screen in perfect Velarite script. Hana read it aloud without thinking. Greetings to the Velarite Collective. This is the United Nations ship Indomitable, representing humanity. We request an emergency diplomatic meeting. This is urgent. Please respond. The chamber went silent. Everyone stared at the message. Humanity? Minji said slowly. I have never heard of this species. A junior diplomat rushed forward with a data pad. Counselor, I checked our records. There is one entry. A species called humans. They registered with the Galactic Census Bureau 47 years ago. Their homeworld is called Earth. Location, Orion Arm, Outer Rim Territories. Status unknown. No further contact after initial registration. Outer Rim? Taeyang frowned. That is far from here. At least 60 light years. And how did they learn our language? Another counselor demanded. Perfect Velarite script. Perfect grammar. This is a first contact scenario. They should not know our language at all. The xenolinguistics expert was called forward. She studied the message carefully, running it through analysis programs. After several minutes, she looked up with confusion on her face. The translation is flawless, she said. Not just accurate, perfect, as if written by a native speaker. This level of linguistic understanding usually takes years of cultural exchange. They should not be able to do this. Hana stared at the ship on the screen. Something caught her eye. She zoomed in on a section of the hull, near what looked like a shuttle bay. There were marks there. Specific patterns of burn damage. She had seen those patterns before in military history classes. Her blood went cold. "Those are Krelthan pulse burns," she said quietly. Every head in the room turned toward her. "What did you say?" Minji asked. Hana pointed at the screen. Her hand was shaking again, but not from nervousness this time. "Those marks. The pattern of the energy burns. That is from Krelthan pulse weapons. I studied them in military history. The Krelthans are the most feared warrior race in this sector. No one survives a fight with them." Taeyang moved closer to the screen. His expression changed as he recognized the pattern. "She is right. Those are definitely Krelthan weapon signatures. Multiple hits. But this ship is still here. Still flying." "So these humans fought the Kreltans," Minji said slowly. "And survived. More than survived," Taeyang corrected. "They are here making first contact, while the Krelthans are nowhere to be seen. That means the humans won." The implications settled over the room like a heavy blanket. The Krelthans had destroyed entire fleets. They had conquered 12 systems in the last 50 years. No one challenged them. No one even tried until now. Minji made her decision. "Send a response. Tell them we will meet with their representatives. One shuttle may approach the planet. Any hostile action will be met with our full defense fleet." The message was sent. The response came back in seconds. "Acknowledged. Shuttle launching now. We appreciate your willingness to meet. Time is critical. Time is critical." Those words bothered Hana. Why was time critical? What was so urgent that these humans had to appear without warning and request an immediate meeting? She watched the screen as a small shuttle separated from the massive ship. It began its descent toward the planet. The shuttle was scarred too, marked with the same battle damage as its parent vessel. Minji turned to look at Hana. The old counselor studied her for a moment. "You will serve as primary diplomatic liaison for this contact." Hana blinked in surprise. "Me, but counselor, I am only—" "You recognize the Krelthan weapon marks. You think quickly. And you are young enough not to be set in old ways of thinking. We need someone who can adapt." "That is you," Hana wanted to argue. She wanted to say she was not ready. But the shuttle was already entering the atmosphere. There was no time. "Commander Taeyang will accompany you," Minji added, "for security and military assessment." Taeyang nodded grimly. "Understood." 20 minutes ago, Hana had been giving a speech about mining operations. Now she was about to meet representatives from a species that had somehow defeated the Krelthans, a species that appeared without warning, spoke perfect Velarite, and carried their battle scars like badges. Her hands were shaking again. But this time it was not from nervousness, it was from fear. The shuttle landed in the diplomatic courtyard. Hana stood with Commander Taeyang and a security team of 10 guards. Behind them, dozens of government officials waited inside the building, watching through windows and security feeds. The shuttle door opened. 3 figures stepped out. Hana studied them carefully. They were bipedal, similar in height to Velarites. But they had no scales, no natural armor. Their skin was smooth and looked vulnerable. They wore simple dark blue uniforms with strange markings on the shoulders. Each carried a small device on their belt, possibly a weapon or communication tool. The one in front was male, probably in his 40s by human aging standards. His hair was dark with threads of gray. His eyes were sharp, taking in everything around him with the practiced gaze of a soldier. He stepped forward and spoke in perfect Velarite. "I am Captain Doyen Kim of the United Nations ship Indomitable. This is Lieutenant Jisoo Park and Science Officer Hyunwoo Lee. Thank you for agreeing to meet with us." Hana bowed slightly, the traditional Velarite greeting. "I am Hana, diplomatic liaison. This is Commander Taeyang, head of our defense forces. Welcome to Valar Prime. We are honored to—" "You have approximately 14 hours before the Krelthans arrive," Captain Kim said, cutting her off. "We need to evacuate critical personnel and data immediately. There is no time for standard diplomatic protocol." The silence was absolute. Hana felt her heart skip a beat. "Both of them, what?" Taeyang demanded. His hand moved instinctively toward his weapon. Captain Kim did not flinch at the hostile gesture. "The Krelthans. A fleet of them. They are coming here, to this world. They will arrive in approximately 14 hours. Maybe less." "That is impossible," Hana said. Her voice sounded weak in her own ears. "The Krelthans have never come this far into collective space. We have no conflict with them. Why would they attack us?" Science Officer Hyunwoo stepped forward. He pressed something on his wrist device. A hologram appeared in the air between them, showing a star map with trajectories and timelines. 3 months ago, a Krelthan patrol intercepted one of your research vessels in neutral space. The vessel was carrying classified data about a new element you discovered. Velarit 7, I believe you call it. Hana felt sick. That research was top secret. Only a handful of people knew about it. Velarit 7 could revolutionize shield technology, making defenses nearly impenetrable. If the Krelthans knew about it, they intercepted the data. Hyunwoo continued calmly. And they want the source. The mining rights. The research, everything. Your research vessel tried to erase the data, but the Krelthans recovered fragments. Enough to know what you have here. How do you know this? Taeyang demanded. We have been monitoring Krelthan communications for several years, Lieutenant Jisoo said. Her voice was cool and professional. We intercepted their fleet orders 4 days ago. It took us 3 days to get here ahead of them. Hana tried to process this. Why come here to warn us? What do you gain from this? Captain Kim met her eyes. Because the Krelthans cannot be allowed to expand further. They are already too powerful. If they get this shield technology, they will become unstoppable. That affects everyone in this region, including humanity. We have a vested interest in preventing that. You mentioned evacuation, Taeyang said. Are you saying we cannot defend ourselves? Can you? Kim asked bluntly. How many ships can you assemble here in 14 hours? How many are combat ready? Taeyang hesitated. The collective fleet is spread across 47 systems. At best, we could recall maybe 12 vessels in time. But most are science ships or transports. We have 3 actual warships close enough to respond. The Krelthan fleet has 27 capital ships, Hyunwoo said quietly, plus support craft. 3 of yours against 27 of theirs is not a battle. It is a massacre. Hana felt her world crumbling. Everything she had believed about the collective, about their safety, about their place in the galaxy was falling apart. So you came here to watch us die? To witness it? No, Kim said firmly. We came to help. We can evacuate your essential personnel, scientists who know about Velarite 7, government leaders, cultural data. We can save what matters most, and we can buy you time. Buy us time? How? Taeyang asked. Lieutenant Jisoo smiled. It was not a happy smile. By doing what we do best, fighting. Your one ship against their fleet? Hana could not keep the disbelief out of her voice. Yes, Kim said simply. That is suicide. Maybe, Jisoo said. But we have done it before. Those words hung in the air. They were insane. They had to be. One ship against a Krelthan armada was impossible. It was a fantasy. It was... Hana remembered the scars on the human ship. The Krelthan weapon burns. This ship, this crew, they had fought the Krelthans before. And they were still here. What do you want in return? Taeyang asked. His military training was showing. Nothing in the galaxy was free. Full access to your Velarite 7 research, Hyunwoo said. Copies of all data. And an alliance agreement. When this is over, when you rebuild, we want a formal partnership between humanity and the Velariti Collective. You want our most valuable research, Hana said slowly, and a political alliance. That is a high price. The alternative is losing everything to the Krelthans, Kim said. At least with us you keep your freedom. Your people survive. Your civilization continues. The Krelthans will take everything and give you nothing. They will strip this world and enslave anyone who survives the bombardment. Hana and Taeyang looked at each other. They both knew Kim was right. The Krelthans showed no mercy. The stories from their conquered worlds were horrifying. I need to consult with the council, Hana said. You have 2 hours, Kim said. After that, we need to begin preparations. The Krelthans are not going to wait. The council meeting was the shortest in Velariti history. 30 minutes of frantic discussion. Councillor Minji called for military confirmation of the human claims. Taeyang showed the trajectory data, the intercepted communications, everything the humans had provided. It was all real. The vote was unanimous. Accept the human offer. Hana returned to the courtyard where the humans waited patiently. The council accepts your offer. We will evacuate essential personnel and data to your ship. In exchange, you will receive full access to the Velarite 7 research and a preliminary alliance agreement. Captain Kim nodded. Good, we need to move quickly. Lieutenant Park, coordinate with their evacuation teams. Science Officer Lee, work with their researchers to copy all relevant data. Hana took a breath. I am coming with you. To your ship, Kim looked surprised. You do not have to. You could evacuate to one of your outer colonies somewhere safe. I am a diplomatic liaison, Hana said. If we are entering an alliance, I should witness how you operate. I should understand who you are. Besides, if you are lying about your capabilities, at least the research data will be in secure hands. A slight smile crossed Kim's face. Fair enough. Commander Taeyang, will you also join us? Taeyang looked at Minji, who nodded. Yes, I will observe and report back if possible. If possible, Jisoo repeated. At least he is honest about the odds. Over the next hour, controlled chaos erupted across the capital. Scientists gathered their data. Key government officials were selected for evacuation. Families said hasty goodbyes. The reality of what was coming settled over everyone like a cold fog. Hana watched her homeworld from the shuttle window as it lifted off. The city lights glittered below. Millions of people going about their lives not knowing that an enemy fleet was racing toward them through the darkness of space. She turned to Captain Kim, who sat across from her in the shuttle. How long has humanity been out here? In space? Kim was quiet for a moment. Officially, 47 years according to our Census Bureau registration. And unofficially? Kim looked her in the eyes. Longer. That one word carried weight. It carried secrets. It carried a history that Hana did not yet understand. But she was going to find out. The shuttle docked with the massive ship hanging in orbit. As the airlock opened, Hana stepped into a completely different world, a world at war. The interior of the human ship was nothing like Hana expected. Velarite vessels were designed with comfort in mind. Smooth walls, soft lighting, pleasant colors. Every corridor felt like a place where civilized beings could think and work. The Indomitable was different. Every surface had a purpose. The walls were thick metal, reinforced with visible support beams. The lighting was harsh and white, designed for maximum visibility, not comfort. Pipes and cables ran along the ceiling, exposed and easy to access for repairs. There was no decoration, no art, no attempt to make the space pleasant. This was a machine built for one thing. War Commander Taeyang noticed it immediately. This is a warship, he muttered. Not a multi-purpose vessel. Not an explorer. This entire ship is designed purely for combat. Captain Kim heard him. Correct. The Indomitable is a heavy cruiser. Every system, every design choice is optimized for survivability and firepower. Comfort is secondary. They walked through the corridors. Crew members moved past them with quick efficiency. Everyone seemed to know exactly where they were going. There was no confusion, no wasted movement. These people had done this before. Many times Hana noticed their faces. Young and old, male and female, all different. But they all had the same expression. Focused, alert, ready. A woman in engineering coveralls stopped as they passed. She had grease stains on her hands and a tired smile on her face. Captain, the reactor is running at 98%. We can push to 105 if you need combat power. Good work, Chief Engineer Borum, Kim said. Keep it at 98 for now. We will need that extra margin when the fighting starts. Borum nodded and hurried off. Kim turned to Hana. That is Chief Engineer Choi Boram. She has kept this ship running through 7 major engagements. The reactor has never failed. Not once. 7 engagements, Hana repeated quietly. 7 battles. This ship had seen 7 battles and was still operational. They reached the bridge. It was smaller than Hana expected, but densely packed with stations and displays. Every seat was occupied. People worked at terminals, checking systems, running diagnostics, preparing for battle. A young man looked up from the tactical station. He had dark circles under his eyes but moved with sharp precision. Captain, all weapon systems are online. Railguns loaded. Mac cannon charging. Missile tubes ready. Thank you, Tactical Officer Junho, Kim said. This is Hana and Commander Taeyang from the Velarite Collective. They will be observing from the auxiliary deck. Junho nodded politely. Welcome aboard. Fair warning, when we go into combat, things get intense. Stay strapped in and hold on tight. I would like to see your weapon systems, Taeyang said. It was not a request. As a military officer, he needed to know what they were working with. Kim considered this for a moment, then nodded. Lieutenant Jisoo, give the commander a tour of the armory, but be clear about what he is seeing. Jisoo gestured for Taeyang to follow. This way, Commander. But I have to warn you, some things cannot be unseen. Hana went with them. She had to see this too. She had to understand what kind of weapons humanity used. The armory was massive. Rows of equipment lined the walls. Jisoo walked them through, pointing out each system. These are our railguns. They use magnetic acceleration to fire solid projectiles at extremely high speeds, about 3% of light speed. The kinetic energy is devastating. Taeyang studied the weapons. No energy weapons? No plasma cannons? We have some, Jisoo said. But we prefer kinetic weapons. They are harder to defend against. Energy shields can dissipate heat and redirect plasma. But a solid slug moving at relativistic speeds? Nothing stops that except thick armor. She led them deeper into the armory. These are our missile systems. We have 3 types: standard high-explosive, armor-piercing penetrators, and electronic warfare missiles that jam enemy sensors. Hana looked at the missiles. They were larger than Velarite torpedoes. Each one looked like it could destroy a small ship on its own. Then Jisoo showed them the main weapon. This is the MAC cannon, magnetic accelerator cannon. It runs the entire length of the ship. We can fire a depleted uranium slug at 5% of light speed. The impact is equivalent to a small nuclear weapon. Taeyang stared at the massive weapon. You built a gun as long as your ship. Yes, Jisoo said simply. It takes 30 seconds to charge between shots. But one shot can destroy a capital ship. Hana felt sick. The amount of destruction these weapons could cause was horrifying. But then she remembered the Kreltons. 27 ships. Maybe humanity needed weapons like this to survive. As they walked back through the armory, Hana noticed a sealed section. Heavy blast doors marked with warning symbols. Some of the symbols she recognized. Others were completely unfamiliar. What is in there? She asked. Jisoo's expression became grim. Bay 7, strategic contingency weapons. We pray we never have to use them. What kind of weapons? Taeyang asked. The kind that end battles decisively, Jisoo said. She would not elaborate further. They returned to the observation deck, a small room with reinforced windows overlooking space. Velar Prime hung below them, beautiful and fragile. Hana sat down in one of the chairs, trying to process everything she had seen. Science Officer Hyunwoo entered carrying a thick book. The cover was worn, the pages yellowed with age. He handed it to Hana. You have questions about humanity. This might help. Hana looked at the title, Human History, The Long War Years. The Long War? She asked. 30 years of conflict, Hyunwoo said quietly. When humanity first reached the stars, we were not welcomed. We were attacked. 3 different species tried to claim Earth as a colony world or resource extraction site. We had no allies. No one to help us. So we fought. For 30 years, Hana opened the book. The first page showed a list of battles. Dozens of them. Each one dated. Each one with casualty numbers. The numbers were staggering. We lost entire fleets, Hyunwoo continued. Whole colonies were destroyed. Millions died. But we learned. We adapted. Every battle taught us something new. Every defeat made us stronger. How did you survive? Hana whispered. By being willing to do whatever it took. We studied our enemies. We reverse-engineered their technology. We developed weapons they did not expect. And we never ever gave up. Hana read through the pages. Battle after battle. Loss after loss. But slowly the tide turned. Humanity stopped losing. They started winning. And then they started expanding. One section caught her attention. The Krelton encounters. She read it carefully. 7 battles against Krelton forces over the past decade. Humanity won every single one. You have been fighting the Kreltons for 10 years, she said. Yes, Hyunwoo confirmed. They tested our borders. We pushed them back. They ambushed our ships. We destroyed their forward bases. They learned to avoid our space. But they never stopped looking for easier targets. Like your collective, suddenly a voice filled the room. It was female, calm, and slightly artificial. Captain Kim, we have detected FTL signatures at the system edge. Multiple contacts. Consistent with Krelton fleet configurations. Hana looked around for the source of the voice. Hyunwoo smiled slightly. That is Seijin, our ship's artificial intelligence. She runs most of the ship's systems and manages our sensors. A holographic figure appeared in the room. It looked human, female, dressed in a simple uniform. But the eyes were different. Too knowing. Too aware. Welcome to the Indomitable, Seijin said, looking directly at Hana. I apologize for the circumstances of your visit. I wish we were meeting under better conditions. How many ships? Taeyang demanded. Seijin turned to him. 27 capital ships, 43 support vessels. Total fleet strength matches our intelligence estimates. They will reach Valar Prime's orbit in 42 minutes. 42 minutes. Less than an hour. Hana felt her hands start shaking again. Captain Kim's voice came over the speakers. All hands, battle stations. This is not a drill. Commence Operation Thunderclap. Repeat, this is not a drill. Throughout the ship, alarms began to sound. Hana heard boots running in the corridors. Crew members rushing to their positions. The entire ship came alive with deadly purpose. Taeyang looked at Hana. His scales had gone pale again. One ship against 70. This is madness, Seijin heard him. The AI smiled, and there was something cold in that expression. Something dangerous. Commander, you are thinking about this wrong. They have 70 ships. We have one. But one is all we need. Hana strapped herself into her seat. Through the window, she could see the distant stars. Somewhere out there, the Krelthan fleet was coming, and humanity was going to show them why they should have stayed away. The war was about to begin. The Krelthan fleet emerged from faster-than-light travel like a swarm of predators. 27 massive warships materialized in perfect formation. Each one was bristling with weapons. Each one was designed to break planets. Hana watched from the observation deck. Her heart was pounding. She could see them on the tactical display. So many ships, so much firepower. And between them and Valar Prime, one human vessel stood alone. The Indomitable looked tiny in comparison. But the crew showed no fear. They moved with practiced efficiency, each person knowing exactly what to do. Captain Kim's voice was calm over the communications channel.
This is Captain Doyen Kim of the United Nations ship Indomitable.
Krelthan fleet, you are approaching Valarite sovereign space without authorization. Turn back now or we will be forced to defend this system. The response came quickly. It was audio only, but Hana could hear the contempt in the voice. A single human ship dares to challenge the might of the Krelthan Empire? Your bravery is admirable. Your foolishness is terminal. Stand aside or be destroyed. Commander Taeyang leaned forward in his seat. They are not going to listen. They think we are no threat. Good, Lieutenant Jisoo said from the doorway. She had come to watch the battle alongside them. Let them think that. Underestimating your enemy is the first step to losing. On the bridge, Captain Kim made his decision. Siege and execute Alpha Strike Pattern 7. Tactical Officer Junho, weapons free. Show them what humanity can do. The battle began not with a warning but with annihilation. The Mac cannon fired. Hana felt the entire ship shudder from the recoil. On the display, a streak of light crossed the space between them and the Krelthan fleet in less than a second. The depleted uranium slug, accelerated to 5% of light speed, hit the lead Krelthan cruiser dead center. The cruiser did not explode. It simply ceased to exist. The kinetic energy was so massive that the ship vaporized instantly. The shockwave hit the two cruisers flanking it, tearing through their shields like paper. Secondary explosions rippled across their hulls as internal systems failed. 3 ships, gone. In the first 5 seconds of combat, Hana could not speak. She could not breathe. The destruction was beyond anything she had imagined. But the Indomitable was not finished. Missiles launched from every tube. Hundreds of them, but these were not normal missiles. Each one changed direction constantly, weaving through space in patterns that should have been impossible for automated systems. Seijin is piloting them individually, Jisoo explained. All of them at once. No other AI in known space can do that. The Krelthan point defense systems tried to shoot down the missiles. They destroyed maybe half. The rest slipped through, hitting vulnerable points with surgical precision. Engine blocks, weapon arrays, shield generators, then the railguns opened fire. A continuous stream of projectiles poured out from the Indomitable. Each slug was small but moving at 3% of light speed. The kinetic energy was devastating. Krelthan shields, designed to deflect energy weapons, did almost nothing against solid mass moving that fast. Hana watched in horror as Krelthan ship after Krelthan ship took damage. They were trying to return fire, but the Indomitable was moving. Fast. The human ship used its engines in ways that seemed to violate the laws of physics, dodging and weaving through the incoming fire with impossible precision. How? Taeyang whispered. How are they not dead? The G-forces from those maneuvers should kill the crew. Inertial dampeners, Jisoo said. Very good ones. And the crew trains constantly in high-G environments. We can survive forces that would turn other species into paste. The Krelthan fleet tried to adapt. They broke formation, attempting to surround the single human ship. But every time they moved, the Indomitable was already somewhere else. The AI predicted their movements, staying one step ahead. 10 minutes into the battle, the Krelthan fleet had lost 8 ships. The Indomitable had taken damage, scorch marks across its hull where enemy fire had grazed it, but the ship was still fighting at full capacity. Then the Krelthan commander made his decision. The flagship, the massive dreadnought called Bloodfang, moved forward. It was 4 times the size of the Indomitable. Its main weapon began to charge. Sajin's voice filled the observation deck. Warning, the Bloodfang is charging a planet-killer weapon, Plasma Lance. If that hits Valar Prime, it will crack the continental shelf. Estimated casualties, 3 billion. Hana felt her world collapse. They would not. That violates every treaty, every law of war. The Krelthans do not care about treaties, Taeyang said bitterly. They care about winning. On the bridge, Captain Kim did not hesitate. Chief Engineer Borum, divert all power to forward shields. Tactical Officer Junho, bring us between that beam and the planet. Helmsman full burn now. The Indomitable accelerated. Hana was pressed back into her seat as the ship raced toward the Bloodfang. They were going to block the shot. With their own ship. With their own lives, the plasma lance fired. A beam of pure destructive energy lanced across space. It hit the Indomitable's shields. The ship screamed. Alarms wailed. Lights flickered. The shields glowed white-hot as they struggled to dissipate the impossible amount of energy. Hull plates began to melt. Sections of the armor turned red, then white. Hana could hear crew members shouting reports over the communication system. Damage to decks 7 through 9. Fires in engineering. Shield generators at critical capacity. But the shields held. Barely. The beam stopped. The Bloodfang's capacitors finally drained. Behind them, Valar Prime was untouched. Captain Kim's voice was cold as ice. They fired on a civilian world. Lieutenant Jisoo, you are authorized to open Bay 7. Hana felt her blood freeze. Bay 7. The sealed section. The strategic contingency. Jisoo hesitated for only a moment. Understood, Captain. Opening Bay 7, arming contingency weapon. On the tactical display, a single missile launched from the Indomitable. It was larger than the others, but slower. It flew straight toward the Bloodfang, not dodging, not weaving. Just moving forward with terrible purpose. The Krelthan point defense systems opened fire. They hit the missile dozens of times. Hundreds of kilometers away from the flagship, the missile was shredded. Hana thought it had failed, but then she saw the warhead detonate. The explosion was like a newborn star, not nuclear. Something else. Something worse. Hana recognized the energy signature from her physics classes. Matter-antimatter annihilation. The Bloodfang vanished. Not destroyed. Not exploded. It simply stopped existing. The antimatter reaction consumed the entire ship, converting it to pure energy. 6 other Krelthan vessels caught in the blast radius suffered the same fate. When the light faded, there was nothing left. No debris, no wreckage. Just empty space where 7 ships had been. The remaining Krelthan ships broke. Their formation collapsed. Panic spread through their fleet. They had come here expecting an easy victory. Instead, they had found death. One by one, the surviving ships activated their FTL drives and fled. They did not care about retreat protocols. They did not care about orders. They just ran. In 28 minutes, a Krelthan armada had been reduced to scattered survivors. The Indomitable hung in space, damaged but victorious. Smoke poured from breaches in the hull. Emergency crews rushed to contain fires and seal leaks. But the ship was still there. Still fighting. Still protecting Valar Prime. Captain Kim opened a channel to the planet. His voice was tired but steady. Valar Prime, this is the Indomitable. Threat neutralized. We are beginning damage assessment. We will remain in orbit to ensure no follow-up attack. Hana sat in stunned silence. She had just witnessed something impossible. 1 ship against an armada, and the ship had won. Taeyang turned to her. His scales were still pale. What have we become allies with? He whispered. Hana did not answer. She was watching the planet below. Her homeworld, saved by beings who came from nowhere. Beings who fought with weapons that turned matter into energy. beings who stood between her people and annihilation without hesitation. Humanity had saved them. But Hana understood now. They had not just gained an ally, they had gained a protector. And protectors could be as dangerous as enemies. The medical bay was full. Hana moved between the beds, helping where she could. Dr. Narisong worked with quick efficiency, treating burn victims and crew members with broken bones from the battle. The injuries were terrible, but everyone would survive. A young crew member, maybe 20 years old, had bandages wrapped around his arms. He smiled weakly at Hana. "First battle?" he asked. "Yes," Hana admitted. "How could you tell?" "You look shocked." "We all looked like that after the first one." "You get used to it, sort of." "How many battles have you been in?" Hana asked. He thought for a moment. "This was my fourth." The others were smaller. "Pirate raids. Border skirmishes. Nothing like today, 4 battles." He was so young, but he had already seen more combat than most Velarite soldiers would see in a lifetime. Over the next 2 days, Hana learned more about humanity by watching them work. The crew repaired damage with practiced skill. They replaced burned-out systems. They patched hull breaches. They mourned the 3 crew members who had died when the Krelthan plasma lance hit. But they did not stop working. She spent time with different crew members asking questions, learning their stories. Chief Engineer Borum told her about the isolation period. "When humanity first reached the stars 80 years ago, we thought we would find friends. We found enemies instead. 3 different species attacked us within the first 5 years. They saw us as weak, easy targets. They were wrong." "What happened?" Hana asked. Borum's expression was grim. "We fought, we lost. We learned. And then we fought again. The first contact wars lasted 30 years. We lost colonies. We lost fleets. We lost millions of people. But we survived." Tactical Officer Junho told her about the different species humanity had fought. Some we made peace with eventually. Once they realized we could not be conquered, they were willing to negotiate. Others refused any terms except our extinction. Those species do not exist anymore. "You destroyed them completely?" Hana asked, horrified. Junho nodded slowly. 3 times. Each time against species that explicitly stated their goal was to exterminate humanity. We gave them chances to stop. Chances to negotiate. They refused. So we did what we had to do to survive. Science Officer Hyunwoo explained humanity's technological development. "We learned from everyone we fought. We captured enemy ships and studied them. We reverse-engineered their weapons. We took their best ideas and made them better. The Mac cannon, based on a design we stole from the second species that attacked us. The antimatter warheads. We developed those after analyzing a weapon used against Earth. Everything we have, we built from necessity." On the 3rd day, Captain Kim invited Hana and Commander Taiyang to the war room. It was a secure space deep in the ship, surrounded by reinforced walls. A massive display showed a map of known space. "I want to be honest with you," Kim said. "You need to understand what you are allying with. Not the propaganda, not the legend. The truth." He pointed to human space on the map. It was not a smooth expansion. It was a patchwork of fortified systems, each one hard-won. This is what 30 years of war looks like. Every system we control, we fought for. Every colony we defended. We have no homeworld ships exploring peacefully. We have warships guarding territory we earned with blood. And the Krelthans? Taiyang asked. Lieutenant Jisoo brought up a different section of the map. We have fought them 7 times in the past decade. They keep testing us, looking for weakness. Today was the largest battle so far, but it will not be the last. Why do you keep fighting them? Hana asked. Why not find peace? Because they will not accept peace, Kim said bluntly. The Krelthans believe in strength. They see negotiation as weakness. The only language they understand is force, so we speak that language fluently. Kim turned to face them directly. We want an alliance with the Velariti Collective. But I need you to understand what that means. We are not peaceful explorers. We are survivors. We will defend our allies with everything we have, but we expect the same commitment in return. What exactly do you want from us? Hana asked. Intelligence networks, early warning systems, shared research on defensive technology, and if another threat emerges, we want to face it together. Not humanity alone. Not the collective alone. Together. Taeyang studied the map carefully. You are building something. Not just defending territory. You are creating a network of allied worlds. Yes, Kim confirmed. The galaxy is not a peaceful place. Species that try to remain neutral end up as victims. We want to change that. Create a coalition of civilizations strong enough to defend themselves. Strong enough that predators like the Krelthans think twice before attacking. It was ambitious. Crazy, even. But after seeing what one human ship could do, Hana believed it might be possible. Before they left, Sajin appeared in the war room. The AI looked at them both with those two knowing eyes. There is something you should know. Something Captain Kim will not tell you because he believes it would frighten you. Kim frowned. Sajin, that is not... They need to know, the AI interrupted. The Krelthans are not the real threat. They are raiders, opportunists. Dangerous, yes, but manageable. Sajin brought up a new section of the map, far beyond both human and Velarite space. There is an empire out there. The Dominion. 300 systems under the control of a species called the Chilari. They do not raid. They conquer. Every species in their territory is either a client state or extinct. Hana felt cold.
How far away are they?
Their frontier is about 50 light years from the nearest human colony, Sajin said. We estimate first contact within 5 years. When it happens, they will not see separate civilizations. They will see potential conquests, unless we are strong enough to make them reconsider. Taeyang looked at Kim. This is why you are so urgent about alliances. You are preparing for a much bigger war. Yes, Kim admitted. Humanity cannot face the Dominion alone. Neither can the Velarite Collective. But together with other allied species, we might have a chance. Hana thought about everything she had learned. The long war. The species humanity had destroyed. The battles they had won against impossible odds. And now, the looming threat of something even worse. She made her decision. I will recommend to the Council that we formalize the alliance. Not just for access to Velarite 7, not just because you saved us, but because you are right. We cannot survive alone, Kim nodded. Thank you. I know this is not easy. We are asking you to change everything about how your civilization operates, but the alternative is worse. A message came through from the planet. Councillor Minji wanted to speak with Hana immediately. The council was ready to vote on the alliance. Hana prepared to return to the surface. As she boarded the shuttle, she looked back at the Indomitable. The ship was still damaged, still scarred. But it was also still fighting. Still protecting. She thought about what Sajin had said. 5 years until the Dominion arrived. 5 years to prepare. It was not much time. But if humanity could face an armada with one ship, maybe together they could face anything. The shuttle descended toward Valar Prime. Below, her people were celebrating their survival. They did not know yet about the Dominion. They did not know about the bigger threats waiting in the darkness, but they would. And when they did, they would not face it alone. That was what allies did. They stood together,